Thank you for joining me this week for my conversation with Rick Stewart. Coach Rick is on a mission to help everyone connect with what they were born to do and not only leave them inspired, but with an action plan to move forward and bring about this change and bring this mission into their lives. I think you're going to find this conversation engaging, entertaining, and energizing. And I'm so glad you are here with us this week. Enjoy the show. Living in a stressful world doesn't mean you have to give up on happiness. Instead, you can shift your perspective of stress and discover how to live your life in flow. Welcome to Happified. I'm your host, Susi Vine. Join me for inspiration and interviews with folks who are shining their light in the world in the areas of positive mindset, health, and wellness. I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome back. I am so happy to have you with us today for our episode, and it is my pleasure, my privilege to introduce you to Coach Rick. Rick Stewart is an author, composer, and creator of Strategy for Destiny, a personal development online course that answers that elusive question, what were you born to do? For over 35 years, his coaching career has provided direction to frustrated people, many of whom are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who are at a crossroads experiencing midlife transitions. Strategy for Destiny guides them into discovering their passion, their vision, their dream. Then they create their own unique action plan to finally make it happen. Rick, I'm so glad you carved out a little time from your busy schedule to join me today. Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't miss it. You are rapidly becoming one of my favorite people. Yes, I interviewed this lovely young lady for a summit that I'm doing, and I'll tell you, it was so much fun that when you invited me to be on your podcast, there was no way I could say no. I've been looking forward to it, really, very much.
Thank you.
So
And we immediately, we were brought together by some wise, very far-seeing soul who said, "You two should chat." And if you're listening to this episode while it's still brand new, you still have time to check out Coach Rick's amazing summit. He's got a huge slate of speakers that are bringing their wisdom
yeah.
because this is a man who is led by a heart for service, as you are going to find out as we explore through the course of this episode. So we will share his information. His contact will be in the show notes so you can stay connected, because I think a lot of the pain that we experience these days are people have put a lid on their purpose or their dreams. And so the fact that you are so driven to bring this message, to give people an action plan, I think it's really important to make sure everybody has access to this information. If they choose to take advantage of it, that's up to them. But the best we can do is make sure they know it's here. So I'd love to hear from you. The question that you love to ask: what were you born to do? And let me ask you, if this fits in your explanation, how old were you when you discovered that this was what you were born to do?
I have done so many things in my life, especially musically. And I live in Nashville, Tennessee now. We've lived here for 40 years. And I've sung for a myriad of country and Christian artists, sung on their I was going to say albums, that's really dating myself, on their recordings and on stage with them, everybody from Dolly Parton to Amy Grant. And before that, I traveled around the world with my band, entertaining troops during the Vietnam War, doing what are called USO shows. That I grew up a lot by getting in on a war. It was when I went back to college at 25 to finish up my music degree, I was a man among boys. And I actually studied. I actually studied because I wanted my degree instead of partying and beer and women. So
Perspective is powerful, isn't it? And I
It-
think that ability to get perspectives of what life is like around the world, especially during wartime, unfortunately, but is a very unique and powerful opportunity.
yes. And getting back to what I was born to do,
Hmm.
one thing anybody who has ever known me knows that I'm an encourager. Another term for that is exhorter. See, I grew up little. I skipped fifth grade. I went directly from fourth to sixth grade because I was getting into trouble. I was bored. Okay. I was the egghead in the class. Okay. And so all of a sudden I was a head shorter than the other boys and even a lot of the girls. And so going into high school at age 13 and being 5 feet tall, I got picked on, even though I was the music guy, I was the drama guy in all of high school, but still I was little and I didn't start growing until I was a junior. Now I'm 6'4". Okay, about 200 pounds, and nobody in a class reunion would ever recognize me. They just weren't. So I've got this perspective of the little guy, the little gal, the one picked on, the one who's unnoticed, the one who is ignored, and I want to encourage that person. Okay, I'll get these little nuggets dropped. I blame God. You can blame any whatever entity you want, but I blame God. I'm in Walmart and it's Rick, aisle 14. Go check out this dude, and it's like, okay, well, I know that little voice well enough. I'll go to aisle 14. I'll tell my wife, got to go to aisle 14. She's used to this now, and I'll see somebody. They're not real easy on the eyes. Okay. And they've got physical problems. They look down and out and that sort of thing. And I'll just start up a conversation with them and say, hey man, that's a cool cap. What does that say on it? What does that say on it? Oh man, that's neat. Where did you get that? And just go through or find some gal who is, like 400 pounds, but she's got on really cool pink tennis shoes. Say, those are the cutest tennis shoes. Where did you get those? Just to start up a conversation, to say something that makes somebody feel good about themselves. So the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing is because I had an incredibly bad series of bad experiences in the business world, and trusting people and getting shot down to the point where one boss left town with a huge gambling debt and left us without employment and without income. We had so much debt that we had to declare bankruptcy. We lost our house, and it was just incredible. And I'm going, okay, what is going on here? So I start listening to motivational gurus, and this is what they said: follow your dream, find your destiny. I'm going, what is my dream? Do I have a destiny? And then when they get me all hyped up and I'm dancing in my chair, they say, that's it. Just do it. But do what? Do what? So I am discover your passion, your vision, your dream. Then you create your own unique, one-of-a-kind personal action plan based on the answers to the probing questions that Coach Rick puts out there for you in these lessons. And they're tough ones. And then you put together an action plan to actually make it happen, not just leave you hanging there. And that is a passion. That is a passion of mine. That and music. I've got the two things going simultaneously. I am writing a modern oratorio. Isn't that weird? People are going to have to look that one up.
We're bringing it back.
Okay.
We can call it a rock opera for the lay person.
Yeah, we can. Yes, absolutely.
But a
Absolutely.
modern oratorio sounds just about big enough to encompass the message that you have.
Well, I have found two in the past few weeks that are up and running, and they're slating themselves as modern oratorios. So once I get it up there, get it ready to go, I'm going to be in good company. the oratorio has not been something that people have been writing for a long time, but they are now.
We've
They're
had a
starting
little
to do
bit of time at home to really drop into the art, to call in the muse, to bring in that divine inspiration.
Yes, 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 and
and
yes.
and we connected on many levels initially. Thanks to Cindy for introducing us, but with that background of music, with that love of theater, with that recognition that shared emotion and connection is so important, and that's something we've really been missing over the last few years. But even before that, we've been becoming more and more withdrawn and disconnected and thinking we're at it alone. The world is out to get us. It's us versus them. And so, to create an opportunity for these probing questions, to really come back to what were you born to do, that's a gift. I think not many people are letting themselves even open that book. How do you feel people are in this space? Are they afraid to look down that path? What do you think is holding them back?
I really think that the main problem is when people are good at something, they think, well, that's just normal. I'm not exceptional. I can't coach someone. I can't teach that. I can't create a course. Who would want to listen to me? and
Mm.
and yet one of my longtime friends who endorses my course, his name is Dave Ramsey. He's a financial wizard, and he has taken people's financial problems and put them into a course. The very first one, because we've been with him for a long time, was Financial Peace, and then Financial Peace University, and then all of these other courses. He's created a whole industry around helping people get out of debt and stay out of debt. And he's highly revered, at least in the United States for sure. And people don't realize that they've got something that other people want to know, other people want to learn. Case in point, another gentleman who has been a longtime friend, Dan Miller, who wrote 48 Days to the Work You Love. His deal is he has so many courses and books and CDs and mini books and ebooks, etc. out there, because he and his wife Joanna, whenever anybody asks them the same question a minimum of 3 times, they figure, well, people need to know this. People want to know the answer to that question. They write a book, they create a course, they put out an ebook, they put out a CD, they put out something, and then he does his podcast about those things all the time. And he's got tens of thousands of people who listen to Dan every single day, and it's amazing. So it's it's discovering what you were born to do, and not going, that's not important. See, because it is important, and you might be the only one doing that. Can I give you a case in point?
Sure.
Okay, young waiter, quizzing him, helping him because he's frustrated. What are you doing? Going to law school. Why are you going to law school? I want to help people. What do you like about law school? Blah, 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 blah. What do you not like about law school? Well, I don't like pitting people against each other. I don't like somebody to lose and somebody to win. And so I working with him, coming to, all right, well, let's get on your hobbies. What do you love? What do you love to do? Or what do you do? List of hobbies. What do you love to do? And when we got to cooking, his eyes danced. He went to culinary school. He dropped out of law school. He went to culinary school, a prestigious one. He's now a chef, doing exactly what he was born to do. But he didn't see that until he talked to me. Okay. Now, it's all in the book, because you know as well as I do, it's not just asking questions, it's asking the right questions. The big one being, if money and time were no object, and you knew you couldn't fail, nothing and no one could stop you. No one could stop you. No one in your family, no one you grew up with, no one in your neighborhood, nobody anywhere, your boss, nobody could stop you. What would you do? What would the rest of your life look like? And then the big one, Susie, what are you willing to do to get there? Otherwise, 2, 5, 10 years down the road, you're doing the same thing, making copies, pulling that lever, doing living somebody else's dream, helping them create their dream. What about your dream? Doggone it. Let's get down and dirty. Yeah, and you know, when people take my course, I want them to listen to the audio book, and I want them to take the video lessons that I narrate, because I get to be passionate about them. It's all about them. Where do you find something that's all about you? They're not out there. No, it's all about me hiring you or getting you to pay me money to do this. It's all about, you know, it's all about me. No, Strategy for Destiny is all about you. Wow, I'm almost out of breath.
Well, I think you bring up a really powerful point, because I believe that a lot of the struggles I see with people in terms of the stress in their lives or living healthy, air quotes on that if you're just listening, living healthy, people have been trained, we've been indoctrinated that the answer lies outside of us. That I need to go listen to this guru and they have a plan and I'll just work the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And if it works, if I do it right, then I win. And if it doesn't work, I must be doing it wrong. It's my fault. You know, we take on that responsibility. We're so hard on ourselves. And we have completely lost that ability to tune in to that inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
That voice that, when it's speaking to you, it says, take a look over in aisle 14. But, you know, the voice that starts in your heart and says, this brings me joy. And it can be this simple.
And so many people don't believe they deserve to have joy. They don't believe they deserve to have happiness. They don't believe they're worthy to follow another path, a path that might include risk. No, always includes risk. And sometimes it's big risk. But you'll know in your knower when you're following the right direction, the right path. Because there are enemies out there to your mind. There are enemies to your body. There are enemies to your heart that will tell you, do this, do that. Don't go to aisle 14. You're going to make a fool out of yourself, Rick. That guy doesn't want to hear you. He doesn't care what you think about his cap. And yet, I go do it stubbornly because I know that this person needs to be encouraged somehow. Mm. The pink shoes, they need to be pointed out, you know.
We need cheerleaders and exhorters. We need encouragers. And so I want to ask you, if there's more to the story, there's always more to the story, and I love your stories, but how did you get to this place where you now are connected to, you are now living your purpose?
When the boss left town, when things hit the fan, my wife said, I had been doing some interesting things. I'll just suffice to say, if someone wants to know more about my story, they can go to my website, strategyfordestiny.com, and sign in for the ebook. There are seven easy steps to reach your dream target. And then there underneath that is a bonus video. And if people can click on that and immediately watch this video with slides, and it's about my life and about their life and how the two need to meet. I need to meet up with them with the course, and they need to meet up with me in the course. Or sometimes they can talk to me. They can, if they've got the budget for it, we can do one-to-one VIP coaching. We can do personal coaching, and that is wonderful. Good grief! I'm after one of those sessions, I'm just flying because I know that I'm able to help people. So, coming off of doing some very menial things, very menial things, and yet still doing the coaching, still doing the counseling, and all of that. My wife just said, look, I'm going to go back to work. Well, already both of us are in our 60s. And she says, I'm going to go back to work, and you write the book you know is in you, Strategy for Destiny. And you get it done. It's been 5 years in the making. I feel like I'm doing an epic film or something. But it's been 5 years in the making, and it's ready to go. It's ready to go. I've been doing the coaching, the counseling for over 35 years, to literally hundreds of people. A lot of that in a mega church here in Nashville. And I got all the tough cases. I was on pastoral care, and I got all the tough cases because people didn't want to deal with them. Even some of the people in the counseling wing would come get me. They called me Pastor Rick then, and just say, well, I need you to come to my office. I don't know what to do with this person. And I would get those. So I knew that I needed to direct people to their passion, their vision, their dream. I knew that I had to do that. And so it was laid on me to start writing. And I wrote 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 and I wrote. I've got 7 lessons. And I mean, I go over it and I think, did I write this? It's good. It's the right questions in the right order for the right people. And the beta testing lady, the beta testing was amazing. Turned people's lives around. You know, one of those was the waiter that turned into the chef. And there are a bunch more of those. So I just knew if in my golden years, if I was going to make a difference, I had to quit just beating my head about people who weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and talking to young people and talking to people in their 30s and 40s and 50s who were really at a crossroads, maybe a divorce, a job change, or I know of a dentist who at age 45 changed careers because he wanted to do something else instead of dentistry. He was burnt out on dentistry. Things like that. So that's why I'm passionate. And let's look at it this way. I'm also passionate about getting my rock opera out there. We have a phenomenal symphony hall here in town, and I have connections there. And I want to finish writing it and debut it there. But it takes a bunch of money to do a full production with full orchestra, full choir, known soloists, and I'm the narrator. Yeah. So
Rick's voice will be on stage filling the house.
Yes, in my tux, I will be standing up there reading the narration. Yeah.
And what comes up to me is and dating myself. I was a few years out of college when September 11th happened in 2001. And the next day, on the 12th, I went in and I quit the job that I was doing. And I have felt that over these 2 years, we've had this opportunity, this protracted 9/11 moment where we all got a chance to really re-examine what matters to us, what we can tolerate, what we're passionate about, where we feel dissatisfied. And you know, the rumblings of this big shift started coming about a year ago, halfway through the social distancing. And now we are in the thick of the Great Resignation. And the numbers keep going up. I heard 55% of people who are in jobs are actively seeking other work. And then I hear 60. And I think it is going to keep coming up. And it all goes back to this point that you say that, you know, we don't give ourselves credit for what we're good at. When we do good work for other people and we get recognized for that, however minimally they recognize that work, maybe a promotion, maybe some, you know, way to go. We keep showing up for that. We keep doing good work for other people, and we never give ourselves the credit. And so that's another reason why I'm really excited that this book has been birthed at this point in time. There's definitely a lot of people who maybe wouldn't have given themselves that opportunity to take a fresh look at what matters to them. But if not now, then when? And so I'm so excited that you're bringing your passion and your years of experience and breadth of experience to highlight this and to give people the roadmap, like you say, instead of the fiery speech, the motivational speaker that gets everybody all ready to go and then says, get on.
You're on your own. You're on your own. Yeah. Go get them. Don't call me. Yeah. Yeah. But thanks for the $2,000. You know? Yeah. Thanks for letting me into your head. Yeah. Thanks for letting me get you so mad and so confused and so upset with your life. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed doing it. Right. And there are some really good speakers out there and trainers, a lot of them. And I just have a tough time with the ones that don't give a plan. Okay. Case in point, if I have appendicitis, am I going to go to YouTube, find a video on how to give yourself an appendectomy and then give myself an appendectomy? I certainly hope not. Instead, I'm going to look for a surgeon who does this every single day, several times a day. All right, another. I've been indicted for triple murders, and I wasn't even anywhere near I wasn't even in the same state. I have an alibi, but nobody believes me. Okay, am I going to plead my own case? Am I? Or am I going to find an attorney who, or a group of attorneys who will take on my case and get me off? Otherwise, it's electric chair or life in prison. Yeah, I'd better not represent myself. So why do people stay in that sea of regret? A horrible place to live for year after year after year after year after year. When I'm giving them, bless God, I'm giving them an alternative. I'm giving them a way to figure out how to get off that hamster wheel, if you will. And Phil, can you see this? Fill that hole in your soul. It has to be filled with something. And you have a way now to at least get a start through my course. You at least get started. And for many people, it does it. It does it. And by the way, I'm working on a companion course that once they've got their action plan and they've got their destiny figured out, that then they're going to plug that into their destiny plan, which is their life now. What are they doing now? And how does my destiny fit in? Do I need more education? Do I need to do this? Do I need to stop doing this? Do I need to work with this? Do I need to volunteer for this? What do I need to do to fit my destiny into my life now so that I can eventually be doing with my life what is my destiny? And feeling so good about myself that I'm not working another day in my life. It's an old cliche, but it's true, because most people's passions will equate to something that potentially can support them if they do it right. And there are lots and lots and lots of courses out there about how to put together a course. And I've taken them. I've spent thousands of dollars on how to do that. And I've got a good one. So don't try to do it yourself, because where's that gotten you? I mean, like they say in the movies, how's that working out for you?
Right. And to your point, when you talk about, and I think that people, if they're really being honest with themselves, I think everybody to a degree can resonate with this situation where we feel a hole, we feel something missing.
Yes.
And we look outside of ourselves for solutions. We look outside of ourselves for validation, proof that we're worthy. We keep giving to other people rather than recognizing that we are already innately and inherently worthy. We are perfectly imperfect, and we are where we need to be on our journey. We just need to be present for it. And so when we stop looking outside of ourselves and use tools like this, where turn off the noise, turn down the volume, get present, and look within. Take that time, like you say, to answer the questions that you are willing to pose, so that someone can answer to something authentically and honestly. And it might feel completely different than if you had done the course a couple years ago or when you were 20, right? I mean, we evolve and change.
Trust the timing. Trust the timing, okay? At my age, I'm looking back and I'm saying, hey, God, I'm not 10 years younger, 20 years, 30 years younger. You got to get moving on this thing, because I've got a lot to do. I've got another book in me, and I have to get the rock opera done, and this course out to thousands and thousands of people. I'm having a senior moment. There was another part of of trusting. Oh, it was so. Oh, we don't trust ourselves to make something happen. We really don't, because we don't feel worthy. And yet there is a plan for your life. It was there before you were born. I'm going to quote what started the whole book. Okay, I'm going to quote it. Comes from the Bible, the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah the prophet is saying to the people, he's saying, and there's been the destruction of Jerusalem. Everything around them has crumbled. And God says to Jeremiah, tell my people this. Really? Yeah, tell them this. Okay. So he says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you. What? Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Okay. That doesn't mean that God's up in heaven with a baseball bat saying 3 strikes and you're out. And that's not God saying you screwed up, you messed up, you are no longer worthy. You started out okay, but now you're a mess, and I'm hands off. You're on your own. You're never on your own, but you got to figure it out. You have to put in the work. It's not just going to some glorious. There might be some of those aha moments that drop on you, but you know what they do? They lead to, for me, the scripture, Jeremiah 29:11, led to the book. The book leads to the course. The course leads to meeting and talking with Susi Vine, and knowing that there are going to be some people who are listening who are going to get this, and they're going to do something about it, and they're going to tell their friends and people, oh, this the senior moment just subsided. This is a caveat. When you take the course, don't tell anybody you're taking it. Don't tell them anything about it. Don't say, Mom, even your mother. You don't say, Mom, I'm taking this course called Strategy for Destiny. It's going to help me determine what I was born to do. And then I'm going to do this action plan. And then I'm going to find out exactly what I need to do. And then I'm going to learn how to do it. And all that. And isn't that great, Mom? She's going to look at you and go, that's nice, dear. Pat you on the bottom and walk away and go back to her complicated life. Because nobody cares as much about your dream as you do. In fact, even harsher, nobody cares about your dream except you. If you don't do something about it, nobody is going to do anything about it. Nobody's going to drop this plan in front of you unless that's the plan. If the plan is, but start somewhere. Do some, okay, I'm just going to say it. Do something that gets God's attention. Do something. Take a course. Read some books. Listen to and watch some of the gurus that I've told you about. Just do something to move forward, to move upward, to gain a better life. Because when you gain a better life, you're going to influence other people in a way that improves their lives also. And when you're done with the course, when you know what your destiny is, and when you're working toward that, like I said, with whatever it takes, the action plan gives you specifics, and it'll be so specific that nobody else has that same action plan. Then you can say, what happens is that people come up to you and say, Susi, you seem so you seem so on top of it now. I mean, you're more bubbly than I've ever seen you. What's going on? Then you can say, I took this course. Otherwise, if you tell them in the middle of it, they'll say, oh, you're the wrong gender. You're the wrong age. You're from the wrong side of the tracks. You're this, you're that, you're not this, you're not that. Who do you think you are? You're getting above your raisins. Stop it. Just get your money back. Can you get your money back? Oh, get your money back, because that's not going to help you at all. Because you can't do that. I mean, can't. Yeah. And then that voice and people that, am I sent across the life of the guy with the cap? The woman with the pink tennis shoes? Am I sent there to say something or do something? Yes. Okay. Is that going to have if I believe that God voice told me to do that, I have to believe that there was a purpose in that. There is a purpose in strategy for destiny. There's a huge purpose for everybody. So for me right now, it's 35 plus years of doing what I'm doing, but the course is relatively new. Okay. The course is relatively new, getting it out there in different outlets and everything. But I'm looking for word of mouth to really get kicked in. So anyway, I've said what I've said, and I'm sticking to it.
I will speak to what you shared. When I made another radical departure, like you, I've done a lot of different things. It took me a while to zero in on it here. But I have heard that. I have had people say to me, "You look different." Like you said, you're so on
Mm-hmm.
top of it. Look at how energized you are. Look at how you don't mind those extra hours. Look at how you have a passion that you're following. People notice the effect of it, but it's so
Yes.
true. People want to protect. They want to cushion your fall. They want to predict failure. So, keep it secret, keep it sacred, right? Like nurture this dream, let this dream have an opportunity to break out of the seed, to start to grow. Give yourself a chance to see what's possible before you put it out there for inspection.
Yes, and most people won't do that. And most people, okay, over 70% of people right now are in jobs that have nothing to do with their degrees.
Yeah.
And over 70% of them are miserable. Okay. And that breaks my heart as an encourager. That breaks my heart. And as the little guy growing up and getting picked on, that breaks my heart. It just does. I want people to at least know what they were born to do. I cannot possibly envision, once they know what they were born to do, I can't envision them not doing anything with it. I just can't. So, I mean, I give a 30-day money back guarantee on my course. Okay. So if you can get all the way through the course, and if you do it in less than 30 days, and you can get your money back. But you know what? You'll be so darn excited. The first question on page 1 is, do you love your life the way it is right now? Isn't that a good one?
That's a
That one
hook
just,
right there.
oh, I mean, yeah.
And I want to point out too. So I watched your master class and I read the book, the guide that's on your website, and I know that as people invest in your course, that then introduces them to the community that you are creating of people who are following their passion. And community is so important because we
Yes.
don't always see that inspiration in our inner circle. It doesn't mean that our inner circle needs to get fired. It means we can upgrade the people that we spend our time with. We can surround ourselves with people who inspire us and call us forward. So I think that's a really beautiful opportunity you're creating there too.
Yeah, that is still in the creation process, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm planning on being on a Q&A with anybody who wants to attend at least once a week. And because for one thing, we are separated. We're separated by everything that's going on in this world right now. And communication, I build everything that I do and everything that I teach is built on relationship, communication, and encouragement. And you can branch out anything from those. It'll be one of those three. That you need the relationship. That's, for me, it's God, family, everybody else, everything else. Okay. So the relationship, when that's solid, or you're working to make it solid. Okay. You're working at being that better person, following, examples, etc. When you're doing that, there's that communication factor that needs to be there. It needs to be so that through communication, encouragement can happen. And that's me. That's me, because I haven't had it for so much of my life. Yeah, it was difficult for my parents to be good parents because they were abandoned as young children by their fathers during the Great Depression, way back in the 20s. and in the 30s. And it was difficult for them. They didn't have a father figure, and they did the best they could with me. But through studying and just figuring out what it means to be a good dad, I'll just say it, I've been an excellent dad to my two kids, to my son, who is doing exactly what he's supposed to do in music. And he's a phenomenal composer and instrumentalist. He does all of his own stuff. He's a producer, fabulous guitarist and singer. And my daughter is in film and TV. And and you know why they're doing what they were born to do? Because I'm their dad. So, I had to learn, and I've learned so much over the years. And I just want to share that with people. I really do, because have I made a lot of mistakes in life? Do I have a lot of regrets? No. You know why? Because I say delete. That regret comes up and it's delete. Because if you ruminate like a hog in a corn bin, if you ruminate in those regrets, that's all the further you'll ever get. That's all the further you'll ever get. And you could be depressed all the time, even suicidal. And you're the stress release lady. Who am I talking to?
But it's so true. It's easy to get on that hamster wheel.
Yes.
To let that take the wheel. And I don't know who originally said it. It certainly didn't start with me, but you do grow through what you go through. You have to make that choice and let that.
It's choices. We are created with choice. We're not robots. We're not puppets. We're created with choice. We can accept this, reject this, accept this, reject this, do this, don't do this. Let that slide. 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Now what? Okay, it's in those choices that we grow, if we make the right choices. And if we make a wrong one, back up and start again. Please. I want to see people happy. Okay, joy is something that you accept. Joy is something that is built into you. If you start that engine every day, I'm going to be joyful. Okay, lost my job, kids aren't doing well, I'm not in good health, but I'm going to have joy. I'm going to be joyful, and I'm going to positively affect my life today and the lives of other people. Happiness, on the other hand, is a byproduct of that joy, but that's not always there. That is not always there, and we can't expect that. A lot of the younger generations, I won't necessarily, I said I wouldn't say millennials, so I won't, just expect to be happy. I'm going to change the world and I'm going to be happy. No, look to have joy in what you're doing, because you're where you need to be right now. But can you make some choices, some better choices that will allow you to move on, that will pull you along, push you along gently? There's a Bible verse that says, and you will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Whenever you turn to the right hand or whenever you turn to the left. This is the way to go, Susie. Oh, that's a little too far right. A little too far left. Okay. I see. Okay. You made that decision. Well, let's go back, get on the right path, the straight and narrow path here. And I'll redirect your thinking so that you'll see why that choice was an error and what the right choice is. And that's the path that we walk on every single day. And it's a narrow one. It is, because it's so easy for the herd mentality to follow the wide path and help somebody else live their dream, or just get totally off of their own dream and never realize it. Because nobody on their deathbed says, I wish I'd spent more time at the office. Just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. No, it's I wish I'd spent more time with my family. I wish I'd followed that dream, et cetera, et cetera. How are we doing? Are we doing okay on time here with your podcast?
I think that we've opened enough lines of inquiry. I think we've sparked some brilliant ideas. really, really encourage everybody who's listening, watching this episode to visit Rick's website, to take a look at just the top layer, the peak of the program that he's created with this powerful ebook that starts seeding these questions. I'm so grateful.
7 easy steps to reach your dream target. Yeah, it's a short ebook, but it will open up some of your brain. It'll parts that have died, basically, or parts that you've gone, nope, I can't go there. I can't go there because I can't do anything or even think about doing anything that doesn't offer me security. It doesn't offer me good benefits. It doesn't offer me health insurance. And
yeah. We'll table those can'ts. We'll put those shoulds on a shelf for a minute. Yeah. And treat yourself to a little inquiry and exploration. Strategyfordestiny.com. We'll have the links in the show notes here as well.
I'm so glad you asked me to do this.
I'm so grateful for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the results of the summit that you're creating and what else is coming down the line. You might have a podcast in you. I hate to get you too busy. I know you have a lot on your plate, but
well, I think a podcast would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be my my inaugural interview on a podcast. Yeah. So and one thing I want to do with the podcast, I want to do teachings. I want to do like just me, like 15-minute to 30-minute teachings on all sorts of subjects. Some of them are biblical, some are not. Because truth is where you find it. Isn't that a fact? That is a fact. Truth is where you find it. And I don't enjoy people who say truth can only come from this source. That's too narrow, and it can hurt people. It can hurt people. So I just want to help people, and I know you do too. Yeah, the anti-stress queen
and the encourager.
There we go.
Thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate you and the light that you bring to the world. Thank you for sharing your mission with us.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Take good care. Thank you for tuning in today. Check out the show notes for any links we mentioned. To learn more about living life with less stress and more flow, visit happifiedlife.com. And if you found value in today's episode, make sure you subscribe to catch the next one and leave a review to help fellow pod surfers find Happified. Until next time, keep on shining.